Umaid Bhawan Palace in Jodhpur, Rajasthan served as the extraordinary venue for the wedding of Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas, creating an atmosphere of timeless elegance and cultural richness. As one of the world's largest private residences, this palace embodies regal grandeur, architectural brilliance, and the rich heritage of India. Its selection as the wedding destination was a tribute to both Priyanka's Indian roots and the couple's shared desire to celebrate their union in a place that symbolized royalty, tradition, and beauty. Set atop Chittar Hill, the highest point in Jodhpur, Umaid Bhawan Palace stands as a symbol of hope and resilience. Commissioned by Maharaja Umaid Singh in 1928 during a time of famine, the construction of the palace provided employment to thousands of people, giving the structure not only architectural but emotional significance. Built with golden, yellow sandstone and designed by British architect Henry Vaughan Lanchester, the palace features an awe-inspiring blend of Eastern and Western design elements, drawing from Indo-Deco and neoclassical styles. It boasts 347 rooms, lush gardens, a museum, and a luxury hotel operated by the Taj Group, making it an ideal site for a wedding of this magnitude. For Priyanka and Nick, Umaid Bhawan Palace offered more than just a beautiful backdrop. It offered an immersive experience of Indian royal tradition. The palace's exterior, with its domes and long corridors, was illuminated to create a dreamy glow during evening ceremonies. Inside, the marble floors, grand staircases, vintage furniture, and crystal chandeliers added to the feeling of stepping into a regal past. The couple, along with their families and guests, were treated to a visual and cultural feast at every turn. Every corner of the palace was adorned with fresh flowers, traditional Indian decor, and bespoke touches to reflect the personalities of the bride and groom. The wedding festivities lasted several days, with each event utilizing different spaces within the palace. The lawns, terraces, and banquet halls all transformed to suit the themes of various ceremonies, from the colorful mehendi to the musical Sangeet, and the solemn Christian and Hindu wedding rituals. The palace's vastness allowed for privacy, comfort, and beauty all at once. Security was tightly managed, ensuring a peaceful environment free from external distractions, which allowed the couple and their guests to fully immerse themselves in the joy of the celebrations. One of the most visually stunning aspects of the wedding was the Sangeet ceremony, held in the central courtyard. This event combined traditional Indian music and dance with theatrical performances and personal tributes. Guests from both sides of the family performed elaborate routines, and the palace's ornate arches and historic walls served as a majestic stage. The lighting, sound, and design were executed with perfection, enhancing the performances and enveloping the audience in a world of music, laughter, and emotion. The Christian ceremony, officiated by Nick Jonas's father, took place on the palace lawns, which were transformed into a Western-style wedding venue. White roses, silk drapes, and a floral altar created a serene, elegant atmosphere that contrasted beautifully with the sandstone backdrop of the palace. Priyanka walked down the aisle in a custom Ralph Lauren gown, her 75-foot veil trailing behind her like a river of dreams. The setting, filled with love and sincerity, felt sacred and cinematic at once. The next day, the palace welcomed the grandeur of a traditional Hindu wedding. The rituals, deeply rooted in Indian customs, unfolded under a mandap decorated with marigolds, red fabrics, and intricate gold embroidery. Priyanka wore a stunning red lehenga by Sabyasachi, while Nick embraced Indian tradition in a beige sherwani. The sacred fire rituals, the chanting of mantras, and the exchanging of vows under the open sky gave the ceremony a spiritual depth that harmonized perfectly with the palace's royal essence. The air was filled with the fragrance of incense and flowers, the sounds of classical Indian instruments, and the soft rustling of silk saris and embroidered sherwanis. Throughout their stay, guests were treated to the full luxury of the palace's hospitality. From Rajasthani cuisine to international gourmet offerings, from spa services to personalized rooms, every detail was curated for comfort and elegance. The palace staff, trained in the highest standards of service, ensured that every guest felt like royalty themselves. Customized welcome kits, traditional artists on arrival, and personalized event schedules reflected the couple's effort to make everyone feel included in their journey. Umaid Bhawan Palace was not just a location for this wedding. It was a living, breathing part of the narrative. It provided the historical and emotional weight to a modern love story, giving it context, depth, and visual splendor. The palace mirrored the couple's relationship, a blend of cultures, a harmony of traditions, and a union of past and present. Its presence in the wedding was not silent. It spoke through its domes, its halls, its gardens, and its air of legacy. The wedding of Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas became not just a celebration of two hearts, but a tribute to the magnificence of Indian culture and the timeless beauty of true love. The wedding of Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas was not just the union of two individuals, but a beautiful convergence of two cultures, two traditions, and two very different worlds. What made their celebration truly extraordinary was the way they embraced and honored both their backgrounds through two distinct wedding ceremonies, each equally meaningful, each designed to reflect their personal heritage and shared values. It was not merely a blend, it was a thoughtful, respectful, and heartfelt tribute to both Indian and Western traditions, woven together with love, symbolism, and an eye for detail. Priyanka, born and raised in India, carries deep cultural roots in Hindu customs, family traditions, and Indian values. Nick, an American singer and actor, grew up in a devout Christian family with strong spiritual beliefs and Western rituals. Rather than choosing one tradition over the other, they decided to honor both fully. This decision reflected their shared belief in mutual respect, inclusion, and the importance of giving equal weight to their backgrounds. Their wedding, therefore, became a dual celebration, a Christian ceremony followed by a traditional Hindu wedding, each held with the same level of emotion, grandeur, and sincerity. The Christian ceremony took place first, officiated by Nick's father, Paul Kevin Jonas, Sir, who is a pastor. This added a deeply personal and emotional layer to the occasion. The ceremony was held outdoors, on the lush lawns of the Umaid Bhawan Palace, which had been transformed into an ethereal setting with an all-white theme. White flowers lined the aisle, guests were dressed in soft pastels and formal Western attire, and the soft strains of violins filled the air. The ceremony was intimate and sacred, focused on vows, family, and the spiritual bond between husband and wife. Priyanka wore a stunning custom gown designed by Ralph Lauren, a designer who had never created a bridal dress for anyone outside his own family before this. The gown featured hand-embroidered floral and scroll motifs, lace effectual appliques, and pearl detailing. Perhaps the most iconic feature was her 75-foot-long veil, a symbol of timeless romance that trailed behind her as she walked down the aisle. Nick wore a Ralph Lauren tuxedo, and together they made a striking pair, embodying classic Western wedding elegance. The couple exchanged personal vows, and the emotions were palpable. There were tears, laughter, and an overwhelming sense of unity. The ceremony was not about spectacle, but about commitment, faith, and the promises they made to each other. The very next day, the atmosphere shifted as the Hindu wedding ceremony took place, offering a vibrant, colorful contrast to the serene elegance of the Christian wedding. This ceremony was steeped in Indian tradition and filled with ancient rituals that have been followed for generations. From the chanting of Sanskrit mantras to the sacred fire rituals, every moment was infused with spiritual meaning and cultural depth. This was a celebration of Priyanka's Indian heritage and a chance for Nick and his family to embrace and participate in those customs. The couple looked regal in their traditional Indian attire. Priyanka wore a magnificent red lehenga designed by Sabyasachi Mukherjee, hand-embroidered with intricate details that took thousands of hours to complete. The outfit symbolized strength, love, and prosperity. Nick wore a beige sherwani with hand-stitched embroidery, a turban, and even took part in the Bharat, a lively procession where the groom arrives with music and dancing. Nick, riding a traditional white horse and surrounded by joyful family members, participated in the Indian custom with genuine enthusiasm. Reflecting his openness and respect for Priyanka's culture, the Hindu ceremony took place under a mandap, a sacred canopy decorated with flowers, drapes, and lights. With a sacred fire as the witness, the couple performed rituals such as the Satfir, where they circled the fire 7 times, each round signifying a vow. There was the tying of the Mangal Sutra, see sacred necklace, and the application of sindoor, vermilion in Priyanka's hair parting, all symbolizing their bond as husband and wife. The priest chanted verses while families from both sides participated actively, making it a deeply emotional and spiritual experience. What made both ceremonies so remarkable was not just their grandeur, but the sincerity with which each was embraced. There was no attempt to dilute or simplify the traditions for convenience. Instead, every detail was thoughtfully curated to ensure authenticity. It was evident that both Priyanka and Nick valued the rituals, the significance behind them, and the opportunity to connect their families in a meaningful way. The guests, too, were immersed in both cultures. Western guests got a first-hand experience of Indian rituals, attire, and cuisine, while Indian guests enjoyed the elegance and solemnity of a Western wedding. The fusion extended into the celebrations as well. The Sangeet featured dance performances by both families, blending Bollywood with Broadway in a joyful cultural exchange. The Mehendi ceremony saw guests adorning themselves with henna, while the reception featured Western music and fine dining. In bringing together two ceremonies from different worlds, Priyanka and Nick sent a powerful message: love knows no boundaries. Their wedding was not about choosing one path over another, but walking together, side by side, embracing each other's identities. It was a true reflection of modern love, a celebration of diversity, unity, and respect. Through these two ceremonies, they honored the past, celebrated the present, and set a foundation for a future that embraces everything they are. The wedding of Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas was not just a grand union of two cultures, but also a showcase of impeccable fashion and timeless style. Every outfit worn by the bride, groom, and even the guests became a talking point in global media, setting trends and redefining wedding fashion across continents. Priyanka, known for her striking fashion sense and bold style choices, brought a level of grace and drama to her wedding looks that were both rooted in tradition and elevated by culture craftsmanship. Nick, equally elegant, complemented her with refined taste, creating a visual harmony that reflected the essence of their multicultural love story. One of the most iconic moments of the entire wedding celebration was the Christian ceremony, where Priyanka stunned the world in a custom-made Ralph Lauren wedding gown. The designer, known for his timeless American aesthetic, had only ever made bridal gowns for family members prior to this event, making Priyanka's dress an exceptional creation. The gown was an intricate masterpiece, featuring floral and scroll motifs, lace effect tulle appliques, and countless hand-sewn pearls and crystals. It was a dress that honored tradition yet radiated modern glamour. The Paisidirai assistance was undoubtedly the 75-foot-long veil, one of the longest ever worn in a wedding ceremony. It flowed behind her like a river of white silk, carried by multiple attendants, and added a breathtaking sense of drama as she walked down the aisle. Underneath her gown, Priyanka wore a hidden message embroidered in the dress, including names of her family members, the wedding date, and the phrase, "family forever," symbolizing her close bond with loved ones. Her jewelry was elegant and understated, allowing the gown to remain the focal point. With her hair pulled back into a chick updo and her makeup soft and radiant, she looked every bit the classic Western bride, elegant, poised, and glowing. Nick Jonas, equally stylish, wore a custom Ralph Lauren tuxedo with a piece of Priyanka's dress sewn into the inner lining of his lapel, a small but meaningful gesture of connection. He paired the suit with a classic boatie, patent leather shoes, and an understated boutonniere. His look was clean, sharp, and timeless, perfectly complementing the grandeur of his bride's ensemble. While the Christian ceremony highlighted Western elegance, the Hindu wedding allowed for a spectacular display of traditional Indian craftsmanship and design. For this ceremony, Priyanka wore a stunning red lehenga designed by the celebrated Indian couturier Sabyasachi Mukherjee. The lehenga was a work of art taking over 700 hours to create, crafted by a team of 110 embroiderers from Kolkata. It was heavily adorned with intricate hand embroidery, sequin work, and fine silk threads that created floral and ornamental patterns unique to Indian bridal wear. The bold red color, symbolizing love, strength, and prosperity in Indian culture, radiated royal charm. Her jewelry for the Hindu ceremony was nothing short of regal. She wore a dazzling set made of uncut diamonds, emeralds, and pearls, including a statement choker, layered necklaces, earrings, and a mangtik adorning her forehead. Bangles clinked on her wrists, and her hands were beautifully decorated with traditional mehendi henna. Her makeup was more dramatic for this ceremony, with deep kohl-lined eyes and a bold red lip, while her hair was styled in a traditional bun covered with flowers and a sheer red dupattas, veil that added an ethereal touch to her bridal look. Nick also embraced Indian fashion with remarkable ease and respect. He wore a custom beige silk sherwani by Sabyasachi, hand-embroidered with intricate details and paired with a hand-quilted silk turban and matching mojari shoes. He also wore a long necklace, known as a kantha, made of emeralds and diamonds, signifying royalty and tradition. Nick's look was regal and authentic, showing his genuine appreciation for Indian customs. The image of him arriving on a white horse for the Bharat in full Indian attire was both joyful and striking, a true celebration of cultural inclusion. Beyond the wedding ceremonies, the couple's fashion choices for the pre-wedding events were equally stunning. For the mehendi ceremony, Priyanka wore a vibrant and colorful Abujani Sandeep Khosla outfit, a lehenga with mirrorwork, intricate thread embroidery, and vivid hues, capturing the festive spirit of the occasion. Her look was playful, radiant, and full of joy, perfectly matching the event's tone. Nick wore a kurta in ivory and gold, also designed by Abujani Sandeep Khosla, blending seamlessly into the vibrant celebration. The Sangeet, a night of music and dance, was another fashion highlight. Priyanka wore a dazzling midnight blue gown with silver embellishments, while Nick wore a velvet suit that complemented her look. Their outfits shimmered under the stage lights as they performed and celebrated with their families, turning the night into a true spectacle of style and sentiment. Each of Priyanka and Nick's outfits was chosen with care, attention to detail, and cultural respect. Their wardrobe decisions reflected not only their personal tastes, but also a desire to honor their heritages and set an example of how love can transcend traditions. Their wedding became a masterclass in cross-cultural fashion, proving that with thoughtfulness and creativity, two worlds can come together in a celebration that is both meaningful and visually unforgettable. From sweeping veils to embroidered lehengas, from custom tuxedos to ornate sherwanis, every look from Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas's wedding left a lasting impression. The fashion was not just about beauty. It was a statement of identity, unity, and the joy of embracing love in all its richness. The wedding of Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas was not only a magnificent cultural celebration, but also a gathering of some of the world's most prominent personalities. As one of the most talked about weddings in recent history, it attracted attention not just for its grandeur and style, but for the emotional, heartfelt, and memorable moments shared by the couple, their families, and their star-studded guest list. It was a rare blend of intimacy and spectacle, where tears, laughter, and personal bonds shared space with cameras, glamour, and high-profile names. One of the most moving aspects of the celebration was the presence and involvement of both families throughout the week of festivities. The wedding wasn't just a union of two people, it was a meaningful coming together of two families from different continents, cultures, and faiths. For Priyanka, who has always spoken fondly of her late father, Dr. Ashok Chopra, it was a moment full of emotion. Although her father was not physically present, his memory was felt deeply. She included tributes to him in subtle and meaningful ways throughout the ceremonies, such as embroidered messages inside her wedding dress and in the music choices during some of the events. These personal touches made the grandeur feel grounded and deeply human. Nick's father, Paul Kevin Jonas Sr., played an especially emotional role during the Christian ceremony by officiating the wedding. The sight of him guiding his son and future daughter-in-law through their vows was deeply touching. It wasn't just a formal moment, it was a deeply personal and spiritual one. He spoke with warmth, sincerity, and a sense of pride that resonated with every guest. The look of joy and respect on the faces of Nick and Priyanka as they exchanged their vows was a reminder that behind all the media attention was a very real and heartfelt relationship. The emotional intensity continued during the Hindu wedding ceremony. One particularly moving moment came during the traditional Kanyadan, where the bride's mother gives away her daughter. Priyanka's mother, Madhu Chopra, looked radiant yet visibly emotional as she took part in this sacred ritual, fulfilling a tradition often performed by both parents. This act symbolized the transition of Priyanka from her family to her new life with Nick, and the sense of pride and emotion in the air was unmistakable. Adding to the emotional atmosphere were the heartfelt speeches and performances during the Sangeet, a lively pre-wedding event filled with music, dance, and personal tributes. Both families prepared elaborate performances, with the Jonas brothers dancing to Bollywood numbers, and the Chopra family showcasing their own choreographed pieces. It was a night of joy, laughter, and unity. What stood out most, however, was not the choreography or costumes, but the spirit of love and camaraderie between the two families. Nick and Priyanka themselves performed a dance that reflected their journey as a couple, and by the end of the night, there were happy tears and standing ovations. While the emotional elements gave the wedding its heart, the guest list gave it star power. A host of celebrities from both Bollywood and Hollywood were present, adding a touch of sparkle to the already luminous setting. Priyanka's close friend and fellow actress Priyanka Chopra was deeply involved in the ceremonies, often spotted teary-eyed and supportive at crucial moments. Bollywood icon and designer Manish Malhotra, along with other film industry veterans, attended the festivities, blending seamlessly with international faces from the music and entertainment industries. From the Jonas brothers, Kevin, Joe, and Frankie, to Sophie Turner, Danielle Jonas, and other members of their circle, the wedding became a unique cultural mix. Guests embraced Indian traditions, wearing lehengas, kurtas, and saris, and actively participating in rituals like the Mehendi and Sangeet. There was no sense of division between his and her guests. Instead, the celebration truly felt like a merging of worlds. The photos and videos that emerged from the event showed not just luxury but genuine joy, dancing, laughter, and shared respect for both cultures. Among the many unforgettable moments was the fireworks display after the Christian ceremony. As the newlyweds walked hand in hand across the palace grounds, the night sky lit up in vibrant colors, a visual metaphor for the magic of their union. Guests watched in awe, many holding hands or shedding happy tears. It was the kind of cinematic moment that perfectly captured the essence of their wedding, a celebration of love that was grand, emotional, and full of light. Even the quieter moments were filled with depth. Private dinners, intimate family gatherings between events, and candid moments captured between the chaos of the ceremonies revealed a couple deeply in love, surrounded by those who truly supported them. Priyanka and Nick were not performing for an audience. They were celebrating each other. Their smiles were genuine, their hugs full of warmth, and their eyes spoke volumes every time they looked at one another. In the end, what made Priyanka and Nick's wedding so memorable wasn't just the scale of the celebrity, it was the soul of the event. Every ritual was performed with intention, every outfit worn with pride, and every moment shared with love. It was a wedding that managed to be both a global spectacle and a deeply personal affair, reminding everyone that even amid glamour and fame, the most powerful moments are those filled with emotion, family, and heartfelt connection.